Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Jan Luth, and I'm president of Exploration Place, and it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the premier science center in the state of Kansas, where we see almost 200,000 visitors every year. Thank you. We are delighted to be hosting today's event, which showcases the power of travel and tourism industry, not just for our museum, but for all of Wichita and for our state. We encourage all of you to stay after today's event and enjoy all of our exhibits and, of course, the tourism fair. I do want to give a special welcome to some people who are with us today, and my apologies in advance if I've overlooked anyone. I believe from City Council we have Pete Meitzner, James Clendenin, and Jeff Bluebaugh. Want to wave? And from our county commission, we have Carl Peterjohn. Is there anyone I overlooked? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, state representatives. Senator, excuse me. I'm sorry. Sorry. Glad you're here. And we also want to recognize Susie Santo with Go Wichita. She's the CEO, and many of her board members are here today as well. And now it is my distinct honor to introduce one of the strongest champions of tourism in Kansas, Governor Sam Brownback.
Thanks, Jan. What a great place and what a great event. Glad to have everybody here, and what an exciting week. I can say that in a number of ways. One, to be here, and second, on Saturday, my second daughter is getting married, so we've got an exciting week going on as we've got a lot of preparation taking place. I was up painting the floor last night and building it the night before into the tent, so we're having a lot of fun. Thank you for all that you do, everybody, on working with the tourism industry in the state of Kansas. It is a big business, and we have a great state. And we got a great state to promote and to tell the world about. And you guys do it, and keep it up, and keep talking about it. You know, and just to list a few of the great things that you can see in this state, Kansas, this past, I guess about 3 months ago, was declared the Flint Hills of Kansas one of the top places in the world to watch a sunset, one of the top 7 places in the world. This is along with French Polynesia and the Greek Isles. So that's good company, guys, to have it. And how many of you have seen a Flint Hills sunset? You just go, that is breathtaking to see. And it's great to see the rest of the world. Now, I think if you had a ranking of places to watch thunderstorms, I would rank Kansas up there, because a beautiful thunderhead coming through, particularly if you're not in a small plane, is a beautiful thing to see. Now, I've seen them from small planes, and I'm just not as enthusiastic about it when I do that. It's one of the top places in America to hunt pheasant, deer, and this weekend we'll have the governor's one-shot turkey hunt. One of the best places to hunt those as well. Now, I plan this year on not getting a ticket like I did last year. I was framed by the Wichita Eagle. I don't think any of you could believe that was Michael Pierce, if he's around. He was in the tent with me. We have places where the key events of history of America happened in this state. Kansas is where America meets the West. The lore of Dodge City that is here, and a number of people representative of Dodge City. The Civil War begins, really, in this state. The great western migration trails of Santa Fe, California, Oregon, where the cradle of basketball and the aviation industry. Well, you can give a round of applause for that. My bracket got really busted up because I had KU-WSU meeting in the championship on Monday night, and it didn't quite happen. But great teams. The first Christian martyr in the United States is in Kansas. Coronado comes here, looking for the 7 cities of gold, and on and on. Kansas is a special place, and you should visit. And you should go to many places. And if you live here, there are great unexpected experiences awaiting you around the corners in this state. I've been to all 105 counties as governor, and every one of them has something special, and it's unique, and it's different. And it's one of those places that you look at in history or you look at in the present, and you say, that is really amazing to see it. And I can't go on without saying some of my special events that I'm happy to get to on a regular basis. The Symphony in the Flint Hills is coming up soon. Tickets sold out the same day they go on sale because it is such an extraordinary event. The Salt Mine Museum in Hutchinson is really a spectacular, very interesting place. The Bleeding Kansas Corridor in the eastern part of the state. Eisenhower Presidential Library. We have burgeoning prairie art that's taking place. I saw some last night that is a beautiful, beautiful art. Of course, people have painted mountains and oceans for years, but what about the prairie? And now you're seeing this beautiful art. I saw some pictures from earlier this week of the burn taking place in the Flint Hills. I hope some of you saw it. It was a night burn, cowboys on horses doing it. It was absolutely spectacular to see. And plus, you can watch great college basketball at different venues throughout the state. This is the best place in America to do that. Kansas is a special place, and we know it. Now what we got to do is tell the rest of the world about it. And step one is for us to tell ourselves more about it and go and see it ourselves. We did some tourism polling and work and on about how to promote the state better. And one of the things they said we need to do first is to promote it to ourselves. So we get out and see it ourselves, and so that we can talk more about it. And one of the guys was saying that he went into a town that had a lot of tourism in it, and he pulled into the filling station, and he asked the young man working there, or at the Quick Trip, what he could do, what was there to see here. And he said, I don't know of much anything. And there was all sorts of things to see. We've got to go and see it ourselves, and we've got to enjoy it, and we've got to talk about it. And that's what this event is about, and what we're doing in unveiling this promotional activity of There's No Place Like Kansas, and us moving on forward. We're going to do more on ecotourism. We're going to do more on tourism in general. We're going to promote this industry that's one of the largest industries in our state, and we're going to do it as much as anything because this is a special place, and I don't think we've shared it enough. We haven't shared it enough with ourselves, and we haven't shared it enough with the world, and the world's starting to see it, though, and we want them to see more of it. So thanks for being here. And I am delighted to be a part of this kickoff event. And we got some special people that are going to be a big part of it. So I'd now like to bring up Robin Jennison, the head of the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism, to talk about some of this promotional campaign that we're kicking off today. And again, before I sit down, thanks so much for what you do in promoting a fabulous state to the people of this state and to the people of the world. God bless you for doing it.
First of all, Jan, thank you for opening up Exploration Place for us today. You couldn't have it at a better place, something like this. When you want to talk about Kansas, to have it at a place like this, which is really a unique thing, it's a great asset for not only Wichita, but the state of Kansas. Thank you. And also to all of you that came today, to Linda May, thank you as well, and to the folks that came in from around the state. Part of our strategy, and I think always with the tourism division, it's been one of partnerships. We don't put a lot of money in promoting Kansas when you compare us to the rest of the states around us, and so it's really imperative that we have the help from the local folks, and you guys came out today in a big way for this, and we appreciate it. The next thing that I'd like to do really is thank the governor. I would dare say that we would not be here today had it not been for Governor Brownback and his reorganization order that brought tourism to the Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism. That is, thank you. I do not think that you can overemphasize the significance of that. When you think back 4 years ago, tourism was a division of the Department of Commerce, and it wasn't even listed in that cabinet level. And I think to take it over and to have the foresight the governor had to bring it to our department, number one, but number two, to include that in the name of a cabinet-level agency says wonders. I think it is something that has spurred a lot of folks on. It started from when tourism first came over in June of that year, or July of that year, that there was a new excitement in what we could do to promote this state. And I would say that now, after having tourism at the department for almost 3 years now, I couldn't imagine the Department of Wildlife and Parks without tourism. It just fits so much. And when you think back that there have been a number of studies that have been done over the years, and one of the things that they always said Kansas needed to promote was its outdoors, and yet we've never really put that emphasis on Kansas's outdoors. The communities like Wichita and Kansas City, I was over in Kansas City one time shortly after the governor did it, and we were always a little apprehensive about what places like Wichita and Kansas would think when you bring some joker like me in, and that's the Department of Tourism, and all I know how to do is hunt and fish. And so we were concerned about that, and I told the folks over at Kansas City, they are the gateway to everything that Kansas has to offer. And that is what it is with folks, with towns like Wichita and Kansas City, and even our smaller communities. I always tell the story, and this is I wasn't going to tell it today, but it's such a big group, I got to tell it. I grew up out in western Kansas, and we went to Colorado a lot because it was close. You know, the Denver Broncos are my favorite football team. That's how close to to Colorado we were. But anyway, so we go out and I asked the question, how many of you have been to Colorado Springs? Just put your hands up. How many have been to the Wax Museum in Colorado Springs? Anybody been there? A couple of you have. You don't go to Colorado Springs to see the Wax Museum. You go out to see Cave of the Winds, the Garden of the Gods, Seven Falls, but the Wax Museum is a must thing to see when you're there. And let me tell you, Kansas has a lot of, quote, wax museums in Kansas. We've got a lot of great things to see. What we do not have is the hook to get people here. And folks, I am telling you, what we have in the outdoors of Kansas can be the hook to get people here. The governor saw that 4 years ago when he did the reorganization order, and I think it's proven to be a great success. And with that, at the same time that he did the reorganization order, which also gave us Assistant Secretary for Parks and Tourism and our first Assistant Secretary for Parks and Tourism, and I'm looking around, I hope there she is. I was going to have her say something because I know if she'd open her mouth, we'd all know who she is because she is such a spark plug and she doesn't need a microphone because she's so excited and she's just done a world of good for the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism, and especially as we really move into this next step in promoting Kansas. Our Assistant Secretary for Parks and Tourism, Linda Craighead. Linda.
Well, good morning, everybody. How you doing? Good. Hey, one of the things that people have said to me in the past is, Linda, really, tourism in the state of Kansas, there's really not much here. Well, I want to tell you something. I was had the opportunity to meet with several people recently, in fact, the last couple of days, and they happened to be from Ireland, from Germany, from England, from Australia, and they sought us out because those folks recognize that we are the real America. They want us on their itineraries for their travelers coming to the United States. It was really awesome. It was really exciting. And you know what they said is, our travelers have been there. They've done that. They've done the East Coast. They've done the West Coast. They've done Disneyland. They want to see real America. And folks, where else can you find the heart of America than right here in this great state of Kansas? Yeah. Pretty exciting stuff. Now, out of curiosity, how many of you guys are in the tourism business? Oh, well, I see. I bet I could probably name off most of those. But what I want to tell you is that absolutely every single person in this room should be raising your hand. You are in the tourism business for Kansas. You are in the commerce business for Kansas. You help drive people to our state, whether it is to start new businesses or it is to see and do the things that we have to offer in the state of Kansas, in this great state of Kansas. So again, how many people here are in the tourism business? Okay, that's more like it. Good job. Now, the thing is that a lot of people really struggle with when they come into your store, whether it's a convenience store, a restaurant, a retail outlet, they really struggle and they say, Linda, when they're asked, what is there to see and do, they don't have the answer. So what we want to do is make it a whole lot easier for you to know what you need to explore to find answers in this great state of Kansas. So we have developed a website. It is travelks.com. Again, what is that? Travelks.com. That is actually going to effectively promote Kansas and give you guys as our constituents across this great state of Kansas some ideas. So I want you to go home today. I want you to look at that website, and I want you to do a couple of different things. Check out the itineraries. They're not up yet, but they will be soon. There's going to be some great new itineraries. There's going to be some great one-day trip excursions. There's 3-day excursions. Go out and explore the state of Kansas. Learn about it, because it's only then that you can really tell people how great this state is. Take your kids, take your family, and of utmost importance, hold your head up high, because we have some great things in this state of Kansas. Now, through this website, we are also going to drive visitors. And how do we get them to the website? Obviously, we do a couple of different things. We drive our visitors to the website through a comprehensive campaign that has digital ads, that has the search engine marketing, that has online video, and we'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. We use a lot of social media, and we have a great staff and a great ad agency that is helping us promote that. In fact, right now, I'd like everybody on the staff, the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks, and Tourism staff, which includes our state park folks, to raise your hands, because you do a great job with very little. Thank you. Thank you. Now, today we're really proud to share a couple of new TV spots that we're going to begin airing. Not only, and one of the things that I got a little pushback on when I first came in is, we never see anything that you guys do to market this great state of Kansas. So, I challenged the team, and they said, I think we can make something happen. We are actually going to start airing those commercials also in the great state of Kansas, so that you can see that there's something fun to see and do, as well as Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri, and Oklahoma. There are 30-second segments, and I'm going to ask that they bring them up, and we'll take a quick peek at them.
Black smoke pouring out a tailpipe down a dirt road. Barbed wire fence posts and blue skies forever. White frame farmhouse with a front porch view. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was wrong. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from, like a sunflower follows the sun. Black smoke pouring out a tailpipe down a dirt road. Barbed wire fence posts and blue skies forever. White frame farmhouse with a front porch view. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was wrong. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from, like a sunflower follows the sun.
So what do you think? Creative team did a great job with that. And again, JHP, I know you're here. If you guys would raise your hands, thank you very much. Now, that's just one component. That's just one component. And I want to mention, how many of you guys were going, that's not in Kansas? I think I saw some heads going, huh? Okay, one of the things that we are going to do is put the full video on our website. You'll be able to, every single site is tagged. So if you want to go on our website, again, what is that? You got it, travelks.com. Go onto the website, take a look. You can see where those locations are, because I tell you, I was talking to some of Logan's family members yesterday, and they said, those big rocks, those can't be in Kansas, can they? We don't have anything like that. So, yeah, that's by the way, that's in Gove County, Kansas. If anybody knows where Gove is, raise your hand. All right. Now, one other component of our campaign are print ads. We have a spring campaign, which is our leisure travel campaign. We will also be kicking off a really dynamic outdoor ad campaign later this fall that we'll share with you as well. But right now we're going to take a look at, if you have a chance, come up and take a look. These are some of the ads that you would see. You're going to see them in things such as Midwest Living, Family Circle, Good Housekeeping, O Magazine. Those magazines are going to have these ads in them. So if you get them, take a look at it. Make sure your friends have all those subscriptions. And one other thing I want to mention is that part of our success in our campaigns, as Robin mentioned, our budget is a little bit tight, but we try real hard to do what we can with it. But we have some partners across the state who do a lot of wonderful things. They're members of our Travel Industry Association of Kansas, who is our association partner. But our TV campaign could not be effective without the leveraging of some key communities across the state of Kansas. So at this time, I'd like those members of those communities to stand up. Kansas City, Lawrence, Manhattan, Salina, Dodge City, Hutchinson, and Wichita. So thank you for your help in making this TV campaign happen. And so what we wanted to do is also help them build their campaign, their TV campaign, and tie it directly into what we're doing with the state of Kansas. So with that, we have a few segments for you guys to watch. It'll take us probably a minute and 15 seconds in total to watch them. Okay.
They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. They say some souls were just born to run, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from.
Now, before I get into the real exciting part of this event, I also want to do one more thing. All these key communities that helped us leverage this television campaign are very key to our success in the state of Kansas, but they are only a piece of that success. The rest of this success is focused on all of our communities that are so true, so real to the state of Kansas, and also an organization that is very willing to help you find out more about these small communities, and that's the Kansas Sampler Festival. And I think if you don't get enough of today about the state of Kansas, which I'm sure you won't, please make a point of getting to the Kansas Sampler Festival in Wamego, Kansas. If you don't know where Wamego is, it's real close to Manhattan. I'm sure Karen would be happy to book your rooms tonight. So please make a point of getting there to see that. So thank you. All those communities, make sure you get here, take a look at their booth. There's some great things happening. Okay, so back to the TV commercials. There was a little bit of a common element there. What was it? Some great music. That's exactly right. So today it's my pleasure to announce our partnership with a young and upcoming Nashville country music artist, and he is a native of Clearwater, Kansas, just outside of Kansas, or outside of Wichita here, who wrote and performed the song that you heard on that video by the name of Sunflowers. We're going to use it in all of our TV spots, and a special video that you can find on our website, which is, once again, travelks.com. So let's see that whole 2-minute segment.
Black smoke rolling out a tailpipe down a dirt road. Old rusty wheels still spinning like new. Barbed wire fence posts and blue They say some souls are just born to run. I grew up thinking I was one, but I'm drawn to the west where I come from. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Roots grow deep, searching for water. Years move slow and you're waiting on rain. Life ain't nothing like the postcard picture. It's a tumbleweed blowing across a dusty plain. Give me a tumbleweed blowing across a dusty plain. They say some souls are just born to run. I grew up thinking I was one, but I'm drawn to the west where I come from. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Like a sunflower follows the sun. They say some souls are just born to run. I grew up thinking I was one, but I'm drawn to the west where I come from. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Like a sunflower follows the
I'm going to introduce a young man who has been an ambassador for the state of Kansas for a long time. Because if any of y'all know him, he's driven around this old station wagon for a long time that I think his grandmother referred to kindly as Glenn. Correct? Yeah, Glenn. So make sure you check out Glenn. And it had some sunflowers and a map on it, which kind of inspired us to crank it up a notch, because Logan has had the opportunity to crank his career up a notch, and his band's trailer is wrapped with the Kansas logo, with the Travel KS logo. As he travels across the United States, he will be sharing the message of TravelKS.com with the rest of the world. So with that, I'm really pleased to have this opportunity to, and please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Logan Mize.
How you guys doing today? Well, I'm beyond thrilled to be representing Kansas. You know, growing up here, I never took it for granted. I always loved the big open skies and watching the thunderstorms roll in, and just that big open feeling gives you the idea that anything is possible. And when I left, when I was 18, that was the first thing on the agenda, was to get out. And Kansas has followed me around for the past 10 years. I went out to Illinois to play football and go to school, and that's when I started really taking music seriously and writing, and ended up moving to Nashville. And one of the first people I met in Nashville was a songwriter from Hays, Kansas, and we started writing all these songs, and I put out a record, and I got a strange phone call one day from Governor Brownback, and asked me to come play his inauguration with one of these songs I'd written. And it meant the world to me, and I was so happy to come back and do it. And, my publisher on Music Row is always asking me, please stop writing these tumbleweed songs. And that's what she calls them, because, country music these days is mostly, it comes from the South. And so when they hear these songs about Kansas that I keep writing over and over, they ask for something different. But traveling the world and being able to play these songs for people, I was recently in Europe with Leanne Rimes and able to play a song called Welcome to Prairieville about a fictitious town and based on characters that I grew up with. They were enamored by it, and I'm just so happy to share my state with everybody else around the world, and just thank you so much for letting me represent Kansas. I'm so appreciative. So without further ado, I'm going to play a few numbers here. So this is Prairieville, the song that I was telling you about, and this. It's loosely based on characters I grew up around, and it reminds me a lot of the people in Kansas. So here you go. That sign ain't right on the edge of town. Population keeps going down, and there's for sale signs on just about everything. Benny's bar's about all that's left, and there's a tire shop, but it's probably next. Oh hell, who knows? They've been saying that for years. It's a pretty drive if you got the time to kill. Welcome to Prairieville. Benny's brother Joe sells firewood when he ain't passed out on the hood. Yeah, his roadside stand don't look much anymore. They say it used to be quite a sight. Red tomatoes piled shoulder high, yeah, sweet Vidalias and everything in between. They strung a mess of oryx through his fertile fields. Welcome to Prairieville. Seem to let it go. Maybe it's the water that just gets in your blood, or some of the dust gets in your soul. I don't understand it, and I never will. Welcome to Prairieville. Dale drives an old fixer-up, black and silver striped step side truck. He sold it twice and bought it back both times. You see, it's where he first kissed Emily. Now she's working on number 3 with some slick-haired banker from the next town up the road. They got a brand new place on one of the higher hills between there and Prairieville. Tried leaving, but it always pulls me back. I just can't seem to let it go. Maybe it's the water that just gets in your blood, or some of the dust gets in your soul. I don't understand it, and I never will. Welcome to Prairieville. I tried leaving, but it always pulls me back. I just can't seem to let it go. Or maybe it's the water that just gets in your blood, or some of the dust just gets in your soul. I don't understand it, and I never will. Welcome to Prairieville. That sign ain't right on the edge of town. Population keeps going down, and there's for sale signs on just about everything. Thank you. So, speaking of Kansas following me around, my wife is also here. I met her in Nashville. She's from Andale, Kansas. So I'm telling you what, I saw her back there, and I totally forgot to introduce her before I started playing that first song. So anyway, this next song I'm going to do for you is one I got to play at Governor Brownback's inauguration. And, this feels like such a formal event that I'm almost ashamed there are lyrical references to things that gets college kids screaming in a bar on Saturday night. So you'll have to look past that. But this is an example of me being in Nashville on Music Row writing a song, and Kansas just comes pouring out of me. So anyway, I was so thrilled to play this for your first dance, and I still love playing this song. This is called Never Gonna Change. People call me crazy, just a little thrown off, 'cause the road they travel ain't the path I'm on. But it sure feels good to be making my own way. When I left Kansas, so I'd never look back. But now that I'm gone, it makes me laugh when I look in the mirror. Hey, everything's still the same. My best pair of jeans got holes in the knees, grease stains and a Copenhagen ring. My truck's too loud, I still drink that cheap light beer. And with some things ain't never gonna change, like a burning sundown on the plains. Stiff breeze still turns a windmill, the stars light up the midnight sky. Tornadoes and black clouds and May grain trucks on the dusty old highway. The kids are still dragging Maine every Friday night, and the old men talk about the good old days. I guess some things ain't never gonna change. I drove my four-wheel drive to that six-string town while all of my buddies were settling down. I'm doing the best I can at getting by. Yeah, the longer I'm gone, the more I see the city brings out the country in me, finds its way into every song I write. So I sing about dirt roads and fishing holes, the story of my life to a couple of chords, and it all goes good with that cheap light beer. And with some things ain't never gonna change, like a burning sundown on the plains. Stiff breeze still turns a windmill, the stars light up the midnight sky. Tornadoes and black clouds and May grain trucks on a dusty old highway. The kids are still dragging Maine every Friday night, and the old men talk about the good old days. I guess some things ain't never gonna change. Yeah, well, every time I go back home, my old truck drives itself back over to her house. My heart still lays where it fell. And some things ain't never gonna change, like a burning sundown on the plains. Stiff breeze still turns a windmill, the stars light up the midnight sky. The tornadoes and black clouds and May grain trucks on a dusty old highway. The kids are still dragging Maine every Friday night. Yeah, well, look at me talking about the good old days. I guess some things ain't never gonna change. Never gonna change. This Kansas boy's still the same. Thank you. They're telling me one more, and I hope you guys aren't all sunflowered out at this point, but you got to listen to parts of my song there. Sunflowers a bunch, but man, I think I'm going to do it for you if that's okay with you guys. I had the opportunity to write with one of the biggest hit songwriters ever in Nashville. I think he's had 16 number ones or something, and he was sitting in this chair, and we were working on a song. And also my favorite songwriter from Kansas, Blake Chaffin, was me, Blake, and this guy Mark D. Sanders. He's written, you'd know him if you heard him, and he's just kind of waiting on an idea. And so I threw an idea at him. We were trying to write it. It sounded like an average radio song, and he's like, I don't like this idea. I'm going to leave if you guys don't give me something good. And he stood up out of his chair, and I was like, wait. So I started playing, black smoke rolling out a tailpipe down a dirt road. I had this idea, but I wasn't sharing it with him. It seemed too personal or something to write with somebody. And he sat back down. He said, I love that. Let's do it. So that's how Sunflowers came about. And anyway, thank you guys once again. This is my last song, and I'll turn it back over to somebody professional. So here. Black smoke rolling out of the tailpipe down a dirt road. Old rusty wheels still spinning like new. Barbed wire fence posts and blue skies forever. A wide frame farmhouse with a front porch view. Hey, I'd give anything for a front porch view. Well, they say some souls were just born wrong, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to the west where I come from, like a sunflower follows the sun. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Roots grow deep, they're searching for water. Years move slow when you're waiting on rain. Life ain't nothing like the postcard picture. It's a tumbleweed blowing across a dusty plain. Give me a tumbleweed blowing across a Kansas plain. Well, they say some souls were just born wrong, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to the west where I come from, like a sunflower follows the sun. Like a sunflower follows the sun. They say some souls were just born wrong, and I grew up thinking I was one. But I'm drawn to Kansas, where I come from. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Like a sunflower follows the sun. Thank you guys so much. I'm looking forward to this, and turn it back over to you.
So what do you think, folks? Is he going to be a good ambassador for Kansas or what? Now, if you'd like to download your free copy of the Sunflower video, you can go to a terrific website. What is that? TravelKS.com. You can get that 2-minute video, download it. If you were like many people who are in this room saying, gosh, I don't know where that's at, the taglines will tell you exactly so you can plan your visit. But before we sign off today, one of the things I do want to do again is, Jan, thank you to you and your staff for, what better place to start exploring Kansas than an exploration place in Wichita, Kansas. Yeah, and hats off to the leadership of Wichita and the leadership of Sedgwick County. You guys have a great team with Jan, with Susie and her staff. Thank you very much. And once again, I couldn't, without, there's two other key people we've got to thank, because without the support of our current administration, we could not be doing what we are today. So Robin, Governor, thank you. And to our senators, our representatives, our former congressmen, and most importantly, the press. You guys can help us tell the story. You guys are the ones that can help us get this word out in a very positive way. Tell people about Kansas. Tell people how exciting it is to travel and plan their vacation here. Spend a little time getting to know your state. Spend a little time today getting to know some of the things that are here. We got some wonderful people who are here today to showcase communities like Liberal, Greensburg. We got the Pancake over here, and the Tornado, Dodge City. We also have over here, for those that don't know, Kansas. We'll find out on April 25th because the Guinness Book of World Records is coming to town. But Kansas will soon be the home of the world's tallest water slide. And I know our friends over here with Schlitterbahn, who have been a terrific partner with Kansas City, and Schlitterbahn would be more than happy to let you do a little test ride over here. If you want to climb in that boat and see what it's like, please feel free to do so. At the same time, there is so much positive energy in this room today, guys. I'm so excited to be a part of the team. And I am so glad that we have nearly 2.8 million people in the tourism business in the state of Kansas. So take that back to your employees, take that back to your town, and make sure people know you got to come to Kansas for a terrific vacation. Thank you. With that, thank you very much. I know we will be moving into the neighboring room. I know that we'll take some time with the press for some questions in the room just behind us. For those of you guys that are here, again, thank you for coming, taking time out of your busy schedule, and helping us celebrate this great state we live in. Thank you.